I was born and raised in Arizona. My dad, a school teacher, grew up all through my whole life in education and became a teacher. And during, I've been in the education arena for about 20 years as a classroom teacher. I've been on a school board. I'm in my 6th year of being in a school board. And then naturally after COVID, a lot of us became activists or, advocates. However, it's interchangeable depending on what's happening, at the time. But I ran for school board before COVID. So I know a lot of people got their eyes opened during COVID. As a teacher, I saw it, the changing and the transformation happening in the classroom. And when you try to fight that as a teacher inside there, it doesn't work out for you. You have to make decisions on if you're going to, stay and just, lay low, or if you're going to get out and fight it. And so I stepped out and ran for school board and got on there and changed an entire district. 20 years of corruption.
Well, back in 2015, I ended up going to the United Nations. I saw things there that made me realize that the focus of this indoctrination or this cultural takeover was aimed at education and children. And that's when I was following education to some extent before that, but that's when I was like, this is where I need to focus my attention, because if they get the children, that's it. That's kind of game over. And when 2020 came along, I was trying to find somebody to run for state board of education in my area, realized there wasn't anybody that was going to run. And it became clear that God was saying that I needed to do that. Not something I'd ever considered before. And the thought terrified me, quite frankly. But I did it anyway. And I won overwhelmingly, and I ran on a very strong campaign on these issues. I did not water down or play to the middle or try to sound neutral in my campaigning. And obviously in 2020, there was a lot of cultural revolution going on very overtly with Black Lives Matter and LGBT and all of these things out in the open. And so my message rang loud and clear at that time. And so I did get in overwhelmingly against the incumbent. And so I've spent the last 3.5 years going on in my 4-year term fighting these agendas from within in the education at the Department of Education. And I have continued to be outspoken. Most people that get into office end up being subdued. They learn the rules of the game. They're conditioned to not be too outspoken because of the powers that be and the systems that are in place to keep the status quo going towards that progressive end. And so my voice was not appreciated within those systems. Although I had many parents and teachers and other citizens that I was able to give voice to their concerns and what they were experiencing in the schools and let them know what was really going on within the system, about every 6 months during my time in that space or in my position. I'm still on the board till the end of this year, but they have launched these faux investigations against me, trying to, pin anything they could on me, false allegations left and right. I continue to speak out. I continue to educate. I'm not going away. There's so much happening, and I have so much knowledge and information from having been behind seeing behind the curtain in my role and having access to things that the general public has not had access to, that they need to know. And I'm all about transparency and bringing that information to the people.
I used to be a high school teacher and debate coach. That was back in the day before the systems had been totally co-opted by this, I think, very coordinated agenda that's been in the works for a long time. But we're just seeing the fruition of it now. I had my own kids, had put them through the system and taken them out of the system at various times, homeschooling, charter schooling, the public school, dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, you name it. I've kind of been there, and I've done that with my kids, as well as, private tutoring. Where I really kind of fell into this advocacy level was during COVID. It was 2021 when the masking was being extended even further, or at least people were considering extending the masking even further. I'd seen the impact it had on my kids. I thought that was pretty awful. And so I went to a board meeting and inadvertently ended up speaking. And just at that point, I got pulled in, I guess you could say. And a lot of people were very interested in what I had to say at the meeting because it spoke to their concerns. And then I just started just paying attention, getting involved with other parents, paying attention what was going on at the state board. I'd seen some of the media assassination attempts of Natalie Cline. Prior to that, I didn't really know her. And then when they launched their first major investigation of her, or at least character assassination of her, that's when I went to the board. I prepared a defense of her. And from then on, it just seemed like our paths kept on kind of crossing. And eventually we ended up working with each other on legislation, following what was going on up at the Capitol in terms of education bills. And we got to the point where we decided we needed a platform to inform parents on what we were learning and seeing firsthand.